Um, so another way of viewing why people engage in these rituals is what we might call a bet hedging theory, that
Hmm.
the potential benefit is quite high. I don't get sick, the rain, we control when rain comes, and the potential cost compared to that benefit is relatively low. My mother survives versus I go to a shaman and sacrifice a chicken. That is a very small cost compared to this potential benefit. And sometimes when I do engage in this action, that benefit does occur. And so there are people who argue that um, our psychology has evolved in such a way that we are predisposed to use low cost interventions to try to influence high stakes outcomes, especially when we sometimes get confirmatory evidence, because if you have that tendency on average, you will find useful causal
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, maybe this psychology sustains superstition, but it also actually allows me to stop myself from eating important food or,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
otherwise drawing
I,
causal connections that
yeah.
are
I mean, I
useful.
wonder if there's something here too where establishing a ritual, doing a set of things a particular way, um, in virtue of what that, if you're engaged in ritualistic behavior, you're doing a sequence of behaviors in a particular context, right? That's going to put you in a brain state that's different than if you're just, if you don't have that kind of ritual, you don't have that consistency, and so it could actually have performance effects. So if you think about, say, an athlete who has a ritual that he does every time he takes a free throw shot, I bet I suspect, just knowing what I know about reinforcement and animal learning, and how brain states tie into behavioral performance, I bet if you had Michael Jordan take 100 shots doing his ritual and then 100 shots not doing the ritual, he might be a few percentage points or even more with the ritual there, because it's putting his brain in a state that's better able to then execute the motor action that is goal directed.
Yeah, I mean that seems plausible. And I think another mechanism for explaining an outcome like that is the first one that you described. So there is experimental evidence, or there's both experimental evidence and kind of retrospective evidence suggesting that engaging in rituals does reduce anxiety. And I think there are
Mm-hmm.
probably therapeutic benefits to that, and that might also help you in performance. So I don't want to reject the possibilities of those things, but at the same time I do find compelling this kind of bet hedging idea that the world is a chaotic place, and
There's
so you might
low
as
cost to
well.
engage in the shamanic behavior, high potential payoff for this sort of high stakes, unpredictable thing.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Um, but we can talk about this more generally. But I think there are many, aside from these things that we're laying out, there are also, I think, independent reasons to suspect that shamanic rituals do provide various therapeutic benefits or therapeutic effects, which also might further sustain people going to them.